何か特別な資格か免許がないと。え？あ、プロハンター？
This moment, from the last episode of the 2011 Hunter x Hunter anime, is the first instance in the show, as far as I can tell, that Gon uses his Hunter license since obtaining it nearly 130 episodes prior. Seeing as the main goal of the Hunter exam was to obtain said license, it seems strange that it was practically forgotten for the majority of the story, save being pawned off at the beginning of York New, and then barely mentioned until the end. However, when looking at Gon's character progression throughout the series, we can begin to understand why he refrains from using his license until after the events of Chimera Ant, and why only now he is, so to speak, deserving of it. Although he proves his physical and intellectual ability in the Hunter exam, and further develops it throughout subsequent arcs, the way in which Gon views being a hunter is very much the same as before the story. That is, he views the world through the naive, untainted eyes of a child, one who yearns for adventure and challenge, yet has no true understanding of the world or what its place is. As argued by Alexander, Gon cares not for what is right or wrong, nor has any ideal to guide him in the world. He does not judge people on moral basis, simply viewing people as either friends or enemies, with very little in between. He doesn't flinch upon seeing Killua take a life, and holds nothing against Beanold, the scissor serial killer, simply because he helped him out with some combat training, but harbors a deep hatred of the Phantom Troop and Pito, simply because they are on the side of the enemy. Perhaps the one exception to this rule is Hisoka, but that's a discussion for another time. This mentality, one of a typical, immature child, is one that defines Gon throughout the majority of the story. It is what I believe stops him from truly being a hunter at this point. It's not that he lacks power or intelligence, it's just that he's not mature enough yet. However, he cannot remain a child forever, and as Chimera Ant starts to unfold, Gon is faced with a situation that will finally break his frame of mind. Pito is first and foremost an antagonist to Gon and his friends, and this simple fact is fermented by the murder of Kite early on. She and Gon are indisputably on two opposing sides of a battlefield, and it can be argued that it is each person's duty to kill the other, whether moral or not. For Gon, it is clear. Pito is the enemy, and is thus evil and utterly irredeemable. However, there is another simple fact that he does not take into account. Pito is, in some regards, a truly good person. As a servant born for the sole purpose of serving her king, Pito is bound to her duty, but nevertheless develops a true sense of kindness and is devoted to serving Meruem in the way that she, like the other servants, believes to be right. She has compassion, kindness, and devotion, yet is also able to murder Kite without hesitation, and this is simply too much for Gon to comprehend. The hypocrisy being that only a few episodes earlier, Gon kills his first enemy in a nearly identical manner, simply because they too were on opposing sides of the same war. So, there is a shift. A descent into the underworld, a death and a rebirth. Gon's old childish mentality is shattered, and for the first time in the entire series, he truly grows up. He is, of course, still a child after this point, but he has lost some of his immature behaviors. His expression retains the yearning for adventure, but he now understands what might lie ahead. Here is why I believe that he truly becomes a hunter, and fittingly, this is where he at last finds Jing. And of course, This is where he uses his hunter license for the first time in this short scene halfway up the tallest tree in the world. Thank you.